Welcome to the Northern Powerhouse interview series, where we're unashamedly spreading good news by interviewing Northern businesses and their successes during the pandemic. Subscribe to be notified of new interviews or click the link in the description to take part if you'd like to be interviewed yourself in a future episode.
To Northern Powerhouses business success stories. So we are joined by Milne this morning, who is the senior sales manager at RightGreen. So good morning. Thank you ever so much for joining us.
Good morning, Vicky. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. So can I just start off by asking you, can you introduce yourself to us properly, and can you tell us a little bit more about what it is that you guys do?
Yeah, my name is Milne. I'm from RightGreen Recycle. I joined here last year in the midst of the first lockdown. We were typically a furniture reuse and recycling company that worked mostly with higher education in West Yorkshire and the sort of general northeast. But over the course of the lockdown, we've had to change and adapt our business, and we're now growing into more of a removals and relocations company. We are working with public and private sector now, more away outside of the higher education sector, to adapt to overcome everything that's going on, because with the current climate, a lot of the higher education institutions are just on a complete standstill. Purchasing's been locked down, so we're trying to grow a little bit more out of that area and spread our feelers out into the market, offering more services and reaching out to a larger market.
Marvelous. So you guys have adapted very much over the course of the last year. So how when we were thrown into lockdown a year ago, what did that mean for you guys? How did these changes come about?
Well, in the initial stages, I mean, especially for any education setting, the initial lockdowns were catastrophic to our bottom line. 90% of our business was pushed through education. So we were very much in a position of having to adapt very, very quickly. We were unfortunately having to furlough a lot of our operational teams. Everyone just sort of locked down, closed shop, went to go work from home. There was no projects being undertaken. So we had to take a big step back and think, what are we going to do? So because we worked a lot with local universities and higher education institutions like colleges and whatnot, we thought the best initial thing that we could offer was, we had warehouses full of furniture that were in the process of being, recycled, reused, reworked, that were just sat there gathering dust. So we thought, why don't we get this out to home workers to make sure they've got a comfortable setup at home? So we worked with the universities that we had contacts with and sort of said, we can offer you free furniture for your home workers. We can bring you an operator's chair and a proper desk, make sure everybody's comfortable and you've got the right setup. If they've got kids at home learning as well, let us know. We can drop a couple off to make it a bit more comfortable. We thought it was a really good way of making sure they were taken care of, but also, keeping us on their radar for when everything opened up again.
Absolutely.
And that went on for a good few months. We were just out doing furniture drops. And then
some good news in your office.
Just kidding.
No problem. Real life, isn't it? It's real life. These things happen.
Well, yeah, one of the things I really like to adopt is a vibrant workplace. And outside of the delivering furniture for the home workers and for anyone who's having to homeschool to make sure people have the right setup, we then started engaging more with the private sector and the hospitality industry. So going in, everything was so uncertain back then. Nobody knew how long we were going to be locked down for, and nobody knew what the rules were going to be when we reopened. And that sort of uncertainty was having to be dealt with. So for the hospitality industry, we were doing a lot of work going in and clearing all their pubs so they could properly decontaminate, putting everything into storage, because they didn't know how much of it they were going to be allowed back with the social distancing rules. So the easiest and most cost-effective solution for them was to go in, get it cleared, stick it in storage, get it all cleaned down, disinfected. And then as the regulations were opening back up, they just get in contact and sort of say, right, can you deliver 70% of it back to us? Because with 2 meters between the tables, we don't have enough space to accommodate everything. So that worked really well for us for a while. We did a lot of work with Weatherspoons, for example.
Yeah.
It was just one way that we grew the business. When we'd sort of got to the back end of being able to grow that aspect of the business, my boss, Bob, kind of thought he could benefit from having a very proactive salesperson. That's actually when he went out to market and hired myself. My background previously was working with public sector and higher educations on frameworks. So I came on, and we were framework aligned at the time for the furniture reuse and recycling, but of course everything had come to a standstill. But the world was starting to open back up again very slowly at the time. He thought by bringing me on board and looking at other ways we could grow the business, it would put him in a stronger position should the country lock down again. And that's when we sort of went out to market for a framework on the higher education for the removals and relocations. Because of course that was a very busy category. Because again, everyone was having to empty all their buildings because they didn't know for desk sizing and return to work programs, one-way systems, how many people were coming back, how many people were going to stay at home. There was a lot of projects coming in and moving things out of the universities in preparation for the guidelines being reviewed and having everything put back in. So we went to market for that framework, tendered for it, was very lucky enough to come out and win it. We came first, so we had a direct award option, and that just opened up our world. So we're now like placed first on 2 higher education frameworks. Because of my background, I was able to tender for other business. So we're on 2 other local authority frameworks for removals and relocations. We work with West Yorkshire Fire and Rescue for reusable furniture. It's offered a much more compliant route to market for loads of other customers and a more corporate feel for what we're already offering our existing customers. So yeah, we've grown in a very big way in a very small space of time. So it's trying to play catch up now in infrastructure and making sure we've got all the technology and reporting and sustainability accreditations and in place to make sure that we're a good offering for our customers and we're bringing everything how we should be.
Absolutely. It's incredible what you guys have achieved in the last year, that the speed at which you reacted to what was going on, and have completely, have pivoted and have facilitated all of this growth, which with it brings challenges.
Yes.
What kind of biggest challenges that you're having to overcome now on account of the growth?
Infrastructure, definitely. Bob had stripped everything down to the bare bones. We went into lockdown. Again, nobody knew what was going to happen and how long this was going to go on for. So everybody was furloughed, everyone was sent home. We unfortunately lost a few people that couldn't settle with the uncertainty and had to go out and find other jobs. So yeah, it was a very crazy, scary time, but really amazing news has come off the back of it. We've won some really, really big contracts. But now we're sort of saying, oh, we need a marketing guy, we need a business development manager, and we need a new office manager, we need all these accreditations. We had to double our office space size because we didn't have enough room to accommodate everybody. So we went from a really small furniture reuse company to like a national higher education removals company. So yeah, definitely getting the infrastructure in place and having the contacts within your own supply chain and your own market to sort of go out and say, right, I need 8 VoIPs fitted tomorrow, I need a stronger broadband connection, I need a networked printer, I need cyber security put into place. It's getting everything there and in place during a lockdown where you can't go and sit and have a coffee with somebody and get advice, which is what I would normally do. But we use the tools that were available to us. I've quite connected within the market, IT and things like that. LinkedIn is a massive help. Just if I was ever unsure of anything, it was a quick shout out on LinkedIn, so I'm looking for this, can anybody help me out? And off they'd come running back. I'm from a completely different industry, so I had no clue where to go get, a 7.5 ton Luton van with a tail lift. That was not my bag. LinkedIn always had the answer.
So how are you doing with overcoming those challenges then, from a people standpoint, the new people that you're needing to bring into the team? How are you overcoming that challenge?
I was extremely lucky that the woman who actually trained me in my previous job that I was at for 12 years was available and on the market. She'd taken like a temporary retirement, and she came in to help me with a higher education tender and to help me write that. And then when we won it, I think she'd felt so involved. So why don't you just come and work here? You can be my BDM and have some flexibility there. And she brought with her a lot of network connections, a lot of connections within the university, and a lot of guidance. She was my mentor in my previous job, so it absolutely worked out brilliantly in that regard. We had a freelance marketing chap who came onto them. He ended up getting furloughed, so we just went and pinched him. We've gotten really, really lucky with our staff, and it's a team that we know and trust and believe in and have worked with previously, so we know it works. Yeah, we're at the point now where we're just about to go out and recruit a proactive internal sales team. Again, it's the industry that we're from, so there's people that we can call, that we know, that we've worked with previously, that we know are effective, and it's good. We've not had to like cold recruit anybody just yet. It's all people that we know, and it's able to give people a bit of security who might not have been so lucky through the lockdown, and might have lost the job or can't afford to stay on furlough any longer, or just for their own mental health, need to get out and work and do something.
Absolutely. And testament to you guys in that you've got this amazing network, and that they're itching to come back and work with you. It's amazing.
We are very lucky. It's fallen very well. I mean, when Bob went out to market for a national account manager that had education experience, which is what I was initially supposed to be, I don't think he ever dreamed that there'd be somebody who lived 5 minutes away who had 12 years, higher education framework experience. It all just seemed to fall into place so perfectly.
So how have the existing team, how has it been for you, for everybody there during the last year with everything changing and so much uncertainty? How has the team been?
Good. I think it's a large part of it has been trying to keep that team mentality when you've got the social element completely removed. A lot gets lost in translation with emails and text messages, and it can cause a lot of miscommunications or hurt feelings when that wasn't the tone that was meant. It wasn't intentional. So for me, it's been, like introducing regular Teams calls or Zoom calls, like coming into the office and having a very social distanced group chat about what was going on, any concerns, anything that we needed to address, alleviating any concerns about the state of the business. So communicating our wins, communicating what the plan was going to be, where our growth is, and just letting everybody know that, we're here, we're secure, we're growing, we've gotten past the worst of this, we hope. And communication was by far the biggest tool that we had in our belt, just to make sure everyone was keeping the chins up and everybody was sure that they were safe in their jobs and that we had a direction that we were going in and we were taking them with us.
Brilliant. And what about for you as a leader in the business, for you and for Bob, how has it been for you? How have you had to adapt to your style, I guess, of leadership?
We've had to start building into more areas that we were unfamiliar with. So enabled to do that, it's a lot of research, it's a lot of speaking to contacts, and you have to delegate out a lot more. When you normally wouldn't, you'd normally just go for a chat and keep the staff out of it, and they've got to, just go and carry on doing their jobs. But, calling out on the universities at the moment is a nightmare. You can't go for face-to-face meetings, which is what we're used to. So you need to make sure that your staff are on board with the journey that you're going on and they can see your vision. So it's bringing them on board with meetings. It's asking them to handle one element of the area you're trying to grow into. So, the removals and relocation aspect, a lot of it was talking with other sort of private contractors in the area, logistics companies, agencies that might help us with labour, and delegating a lot of that work out made them feel involved in the growth and invested in the growth and the journey. And that wouldn't ever have been in a million years something I'd asked my staff to do 2 years ago. It would very much be like, right, we've gone into this area, this is what we've done, this is what you need to do. But by sort of getting them involved in an early stage and bringing them with us on the journey, getting them to help write the tenders that we were submitting, getting them to proofread them. Normally that's something they're never involved in, but you know what? That's the work we've got on. Let's all get in it together. Why don't you write that question? I'll write that question. We'll come together and do our amends and our proofreads. And it was just, going on a very equal journey. There was nothing that I asked them to do that I wouldn't do myself. There was nothing that was vice versa. I just felt the best way of handling it was everyone going off in one direction all together.
Yeah, amazing. So what would you say has been your biggest win? What's one of the biggest wins that you guys have experienced over the last year?
Absolutely winning a place on the higher education removals and relocation. I mean, that's a £20 million framework, and we came first. So we have a direct award option. It's national. I have a lot of contacts, so does the colleague that I brought on board within higher education. So it's having conversations with people that we've known for years who loved working with me and Rebecca previously, that want to continue working with us. And Bob had done such an amazing job building this company up, and they had worked with us previously on the furniture reuse and recycling, and we're thrilled that we were now framework aligned to come in and do the clearances or to do the relocation works and the moving from one building to the next. Yeah, that's just been an absolute game changer for us. It's really taken us to the next level.
Wow. And what do you think, with everything that you guys have learned, you know, you've adapted, you've learned, you've experienced so much. If you, knowing what you know now, if you went back to the beginning of lockdown, what would you guys have done differently, or what would you have done sooner?
Well, I only sort of came on board later on down the line. You know, we're already well in the midst. I think if he'd have known what was being on the market, I think Bob would have maybe made that decision sooner to go out and recruit a proactive team.
Yeah.
Sort of, you know, rather than trimming everything down to the rafters and creating that uncertainty, which everybody was in the same boat. But, you know, hindsight's 2020, isn't it?
Yes. It's a wonderful thing.
If had that element sooner, we could have perhaps, you know, instead of just doing furniture drops for home users, we could have perhaps been building that into more work of going in and clearing and helping people try and secure themselves for what was coming up. Just nobody just knew what was going on though, so we had no idea this would still be going on now 15 months later.
All this time. So, I mean, as there is some light at the end of the tunnel and we're emerging from lockdown, you know, what are you guys looking forward to the most as we move forward?
Face-to-face meetings. People so much. It's just what I'm used to. My charms have always translated best in person. I'm very informal with my customers. I like to build a rapport, and you know, we have really good chats over coffee, and that's how you build your working relationship over the years. And very much now you have a bit of chit chat the first 5 minutes of a Zoom call, and then you just get what you want done, and then go back to, you know, your pajamas with your knees crossed in front of you and finishing what you need to do. But I really, really miss, you know, getting suited and booted, heading out on the road. You know, got 5 people to see down in Bournemouth. I'll go see them and, you know, stay over, and I might, you know, hit Worcestershire up on the way back up the road or whatever it may be. But yeah, I really, really miss face to face.
Absolutely, I'm totally with you on that one. I thrive on being around people. So working from my dining table for a year, it's been tricky. I think we've all just really missed that interaction, haven't we? And more so than we probably ever anticipated. Although, what about sort of the remote working setup? Are you guys going to keep some of that? Is it going to be something that's blended in moving forward?
None of our team are interested in remote work. No. We've done a lot of work building this whole, you know, we're a team where there's, you know, everybody wants to be on site and hear there's that much news coming out of the pipeline and that many wins coming out. Everyone wants to be on site and hearing it. You know, we've worked so hard to create a really fun and friendly working environment here. People are keen, but yeah, it's something that, you know, Bob and myself have discussed, and people know that they have the option there to work from home, you know, if they want to, if they want to come to us and sort of say, you know, even if it's just 3 days a week that work from home and then in 2 days. But at the moment, no one's taking us up on it. Everyone just wants to be in the office. I think everyone's quite had enough of being at home.
Yes, absolutely. But I mean, that says so much about your culture and your environment, that everyone's just itching to be together and celebrating the wins together and driving forward.
Yeah, I think you just get so much more done because you don't have to spend 20 minutes trying to type out an email that might have a bit of an edge to it. You just go in and sort of say to Bob, you know, look, it's a nightmare, but we're going to have to do it.
What about any of the other adaptations that you guys have made that you'll, is there anything else that you'll definitely keep hold of moving forward that you maybe wouldn't have done before?
When we were forced to work from home and we couldn't come into the office, again, it caused a lot of tensions between people. Yeah. So much is getting lost in translation, tones. Yeah. You know, it's only emojis only take you so far, and
absolutely no tonality in email. Yeah.
I introduced something called Beer Friday, so it was virtual, obviously, in the earlier days, and then as we got back into the office, You know, we might just have like a little bottle of beer at the very end of the Friday before everybody went home. And that did so much to make people chummier. And as soon as like the pubs reopened, it was like, right, proper beer Friday, we're going to close the office at 3 o'clock, we're all going to head out together as a team. And it's almost become like this culture, like, you know, just graft out of this week as much as possible, and then we'll get out and we'll absolutely go wild on Friday and have a really, really good time. And it's very old school. It's what I was used to when I first started in the industry.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing.
And I think that's something that's been lost over the years, but everyone just seems to really like that, and it's made everybody sort of get on a lot better and become a lot friendlier, you know, even outside of work, and ultimately made us so much stronger as a team. So I'm going to work really hard to keep that close-knitness together. Because obviously during lockdown, we were allowed to see. You couldn't go out and see your friends, you couldn't go out and see your mum, your brother, your cousin, or whoever you might go for a drink on Friday night. We were already exposed to one another. So that was the only social element anybody had. So yeah, I'm taking that with us. It obviously won't be every Friday now, but you know, we're going to try and organise team events every month or every other month, just to make sure that close-knitness stays.
Brilliant. And what for you again as a leader in the business, what do you think you've learned the most about yourself as a leader during this time?
Probably not to underestimate myself. You know, I'd never written a tender in my life before last year, but I had a team in my previous job that would do it, and that would come and let me proofread it, and I would sort of say, right, we need to add, you know, a better value add element or a stronger CSR approach. But I've never ever in a million years written them from scratch. And if you'd have asked me 12 months ago, I'd have said it wouldn't be something I'd be able to do. And, you know, I was thrown into a position where I wanted to help the company out. And I just thought, you know, I've got nothing to lose. I might as well just write it and see how we go. And, you know, to sort of win it and come first was unbelievable. And I've written other ones and we've won those. And I think it's just, don't underestimate yourself. Just get stuck in, you know, you having enough confidence in yourself to think, you know, if I don't know it, I'll learn it. I've got somebody in my network to help. Go and ask for advice off people who know more and listen to what they have to say. Listen to the advice that they're giving you. But yeah, I'll never sort of ever look at a project ever again and think I can't do that. I'll always just think, right, okay, I'm not sure on this aspect. I'll go and ask somebody.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And what does the future hold? What exciting things have you guys got coming up?
Oh, you'll be here all day. So yeah, we've got quite an extensive plan. It's growing our fleet of vehicles at the moment. It's going into hybrid vehicles as they're becoming more available for larger style, you know, like lorries and vans and whatnot. The immediate sort of future will be developing the regional branches throughout the UK. So as our business grows, we want to go into the Northeast, the Midlands, the South and London. It's dealing with our subcontractors over in Northern Ireland and Dublin to sort of maybe get proper RightGreen branches over there as well. So we're going for contracts that have regional branches over in Ireland too. But yeah, the regional branches are the next step that we're doing. Really? So we're going to have operational teams that we can offer, you know, like if somebody has an emergent requirement on one of the campuses, right, yeah, so-and-so is going to be with you in an hour and he'll go sort you out, don't worry about it. That's what we offer to our like University of Leeds and things like that at the moment. They give us a call and we're there that day, and we want to offer that to the rest of them.
Brilliant. So much growth.
Oh, it is. It's honestly, it's so exciting. Every phone call we have is just, yes, you know, your service sounds brilliant. It's just not just the removals and relocations. It's the fact that, you know, nothing will ever end up in landfill. You know, that there's charity aspects, there's refurbishment aspects, there's economical savings there, and just getting the chance to communicate that message to the customers, and they're all about that. Everything's just so exciting.
Brilliant. It just, can we do this again in a year's time with you guys, or in 6 months' time, to see where you're at and how much growth you're experiencing?
Yeah, definitely.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much for sharing your learning and your experience and such a positive story with us. Like, you know, these messages we're just so keen to get out when there is so much negativity and doom and gloom out there. These are exactly the kind of stories that can really inspire and you know, push forward other business owners and, you know, help them to feel stronger and, you know, that they're not on their own. So it's so valuable and we really do appreciate it.
Oh, no, that's fine. Thank you so much for taking the time. It's been lovely talking.
Thanks for watching. What was your takeaway from today's interview? Please post it in the comments below. and subscribe for all our upcoming videos, or click for the next video here.